So to start off our match reviews for this evening, we're going to get interrupted by this cat, which you will not be able to hear on the live version of the video. So egg on your face. It's distracting to me, but you won't be able to see it. This match review comes to us from CelticBeahr, who has 2K hours in the game of Dead by Daylight. So over twice the amount I expect people to be good at both micro and macro pressure. So you should be able to have relatively quick and efficient chases, but also have good map presence and gen pressure. If you're playing good old Dracula, which is not yet undergone their changes that are coming through soon. A very firm A tier killer. You have a very, very wide tool kit as this character, kind of Swiss Army knife of Dead by Daylight, which makes him exceptionally nice as a character to play. So good option there. Playing on Azeroth's Resting Place, which in terms of how Autohaven maps go, kind of a rough one, because Azeroth's in particular, if you did not know this, is tied for the biggest map in the game at 176 square tiles, at least as of this patch. And this is tied with both versions of Shelter Woods, which are both 176 square tiles. No, I don't have a tile count on the new map, the Ormond mining map, so don't ask me for that yet. So, oh, what about this, Mr. Streamer? I don't know. But that, even on a character like Dracula that does have a lot of map mobility with bat form, it is one of the biggest maps in the game. So that's going to be kind of frustrating. The good thing, though, is it is an eye-shaped map, meaning which there's a choke point in the middle, which, so as long as you take advantage of that, it will help you out a lot. But take a look at your add-ons and your perks. So you're using the clock tower gear and the magical ticket. If you're going to be using a teleport add-on, which is what the magical ticket is, you should ideally be using winged boots, which is increasing the range, because the speed of the teleport is already fairly quick. So realistically, having more range of a farther distance you can get to is far more helpful than just having the extra speed with that. I have a similar story with like the clockwork gear. Sorry, right? Clock tower gear. That's what it's called. Clock tower gear. Similar thing with like the clock tower gear. If you're looking to kind of like manipulate the shapeshift thing to your advantage, Traveler's Hat is kind of the one for you, because Traveler's Hat reduces the transition time between them. So if you're wanting to focus on like a swap forms thing kind of playstyle, which you should on this character, that's the bread and butter of this character, Traveler's Hat would probably be more ideal. So it's not like you had I feel like it's like a right idea, but like there are better add-ons for what you're kind of going for, if that makes sense. Obviously, if I have to bring up all add-ons that are good, we can't have this conversation without talking about the Lapis Stone, the Lapis Lazuli, and the Medusa's Hair. But those are the fringe examples because they are super strong. Other options include Killer Doll and Force of Echo. I also like sunglasses a lot, but it's kind of just like a different playstyle sort of thing. That's just a personal thing. In terms of your perk build, your perk choice, your perk build is not going to be working against you in any way, shape, or form, because it's a very, very strong, very good build. So you have a double Scourge Hook with Pain Res, Gift of Pain, nicely sewn together with Agitation to help you make that, which is very awesome. And then you have Leverage, which synergizes as well with Gift of Pain. So if you lose, it's not because of your build. What I will say, though, is that this build will require you to be exceptionally good at macro sense, because you don't have any info here. And Dracula doesn't have a great deal of base kit ability to just naturally track the survivors other than wolf form. So obviously you're not going to be, and wolf form is like very like close to you kind of tracking. It's not like, okay, well, I know where somebody is on a gen, cross the map, you know? So it's not going to help you in the regard of like macro patrolling gens. So just keep that in mind, that's kind of the weak spot in this build. It's a great build, but you just kind of have to fill in that gap of lack of info with your own macro knowledge. 2K, Pickle, 2K. Yeah, let's go and roll again. Good job going to bat farm right away. Usually not to use your teleport to immediately get somewhere. Not sure about that. Especially if you got teleport add-ons. You're facing a legacy player. Oh no. So this little situation here can be kind of frustrating, and it's one you run into on Xenomorph as well, is that when you have such a very, very strong anti-loop tool like Hellfire, like the tail attack, like Pyramid Heads, Rites of Judgment, kind of the only thing survivors can stand to do against you is to bait your attack. Same thing with like Nemesis's Tentacle Whip. So it's a very common play what this Meg just did here was to kind of like fake like she's going towards the pallet and then just immediately book it last second to dodge your attack. How you get around this, at least somewhat more consistently, is you look at the behavior of the person, because she's looking at you this whole way, right? She's looking at you this whole way, so she's waiting to react to what you're doing. So you should take that info and go, she's probably gonna dodge, because she's like the whole time she's running, she's like, so she's paying attention. This kind of play where you just send it at the pallet anyway works if they're not paying attention. So that's a kind of a way to make this little frustrating mind game a little easier. Just kind of keep an eye on where their head's looking. Ooh, Champion Light. Yeah, this is Deep Rift. I love Champion Light. Champion Light's my favorite survivor perk. I don't know. Plot Twist is pretty fun too. Those are like my two favorites. I don't know what order, but I like both. They're like goofy, but also really helpful perks. You know what I'm saying? Like they're that nice mix of hee hee ha ha, but also wow, this actually has an advantage. You know? Yeah, you weren't gonna get her doing that. If you're gonna pounce, you should have done it on the other side. At this point, you have spent a lot of time chasing this Meg. You kind of like going for these really like Hail Mary kind of pounces. Realistically, when you're going for like wolf pounces, those are helpful around like really long loops like Shack, where you can, you know, pounce down one part of Shack and then at right angle down the other. That's where the pounce for wolf is really helpful. You're kind of just trying to like apply pounce to every loop, and you're kind of like throwing these really big like Hail Mary pounces from like really far away and just kind of like hoping they hit, which is why this chase has been so long. Keep in mind, chases in Dead by Daylight also need to be around 30 to 40 seconds. If you don't get the down anytime soon, you're gonna have to start thinking about leaving that chase after about 50 seconds. And you've been in chase for her for roughly a minute now. So you're already way past that. You can shoot over that. I don't know why you hesitated there. You could have went for that. Also, I feel like this needs to be said. Sorry for interrupting so much. You kind of have to like pick your battles as killer. Usually this comes down to like, you know, somebody's at Shack at the beginning of the game. I'm not going to chase that. Somebody's at a main building at the beginning of the game. Not going to chase that. In this situation, you've run into a legacy gamer, which means at the very least, they've played this game for a very long time. Either that or they're cheating, which, you know, yeah, either way, kind of a rough first pick for a first chase. So just keep that in mind. At this point, you should have long left this chase, but you were still committing to it. And you're going to continue to commit. Remember, your build only does something when you hook someone. So this whole time, you chase somebody for a minute and a half. So, funny thing, that's exactly how long it takes to get agenda. It's like 90 seconds. So if somebody's out there and they have not been interrupted at all, which theoretically none of the three other survivors should have, unless they're doing like little side quests. Like they should have been on a gen this whole time. So you've spent a full gen's worth of time in chase. Match time's gen time. Hopefully you'll, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. If they have been uninterrupted on their gen progress up until now, it has been enough time for a full gen. That was a very risky shot. I respect it, but that was like... I've noticed like with Dracula... Oh, that's a really good setup. The double vaults. Oh, that's not your fault. That's just busted. That's stupid. Nice. you kind of go for these really like long Hail Marys where you're just kind of like, you just kind of send stuff and pray it hits, which is kind of where I'm seeing a lot of like lack of efficiency. I think you should have hit that. She wasn't paying attention. Yeah, that's like, it's one of the things like Suffocation Pit, Azrael's resting place. It's like you have those eye-shaped maps, but like the problem with eye-shaped maps is that like when all of the tiles like spawn together like that, you always get the possibility that they will chain extremely well, which is usually a an indicator that you're not really using bat. Okay, there you go. I was about to say, if they're super far away from you, that just use Batflame. Have you been drinking water? Actually, yes, Mr. Man. I actually have. That's been keeping me on that, which I appreciate. Ooh, that sucks. Honestly, until they change it, going in and out of bat form and just showing up on people is really strong, and I haven't really seen you be doing that too much this match. You almost seem adverse to it. Like, you want to get the super long Hellfires or the super long, like, pounces, but, like, you seem allergic to doing that, which I understand, because, like, I personally, my journey with this character before they became part of my normal rotation was, like, I also didn't want to do that, because it seemed, like, kind of lame to me. But, like, realistically, it's what you need to do to be good at this character. Like, if you're not willing to do that, don't play this character. You know? That's just kind of part of the package deal. It's just what you need to do. Yeah, at this point, you have nothing going.
You can't stop me.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I scared anybody there. I was not meant to say that going in and out of bat form will be, like, destroyed super F tier after the change. I'm just saying that, like, with how much people complain about it, like, until it gets changed, which is probably at some point to actually not be great, until then, that's what you should be doing. Nice. Yeah. You've just spent, like, once again, that chase with Nancy, too. It goes on for a while. Like, you drop her on there. You've been chasing her for over 2 minutes. Holy moly. Yeah, when you chase somebody for 2.5 minutes, how else do you expect a game to go? Like, realistically. Like, I don't mean that to talk down to you or to condescend, I promise. But, like, if you don't pressure 3 other survivors for 2.5 minutes, what do you think they're doing? What do you think they're doing? Are they just doing chess? They doing totems? Waiting for the chase to show up? No, they're doing gens. So if you end up in a chase for 2.5 minutes, realistically, this game should have ended quicker. A lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, the gens are going so fast. But realistically, the gens should have gotten even quicker than this. 2.5 minutes uncontested, 3 survivors. Gens are only a minute and a half. That's so unlucky.
Run, you fool.
It's funny because you brought this add-on that helps you, like, teleport faster, but you didn't start teleporting until, like, the last gen's worth of time. Was this such bad luck? I don't think it... I would argue the opposite. There's a lot of, like, willing decisions to go from some very long Hail Mary plays and really long overcommitment to chases. That's the reason this match with that. It wasn't like a just a RNG bad. Yeah, notice when somebody gets really far away, you like try to like pounce at them instead of just like either tracking them down in wolf form or going into bat and popping out on them. Like you try to just like pounce the distance, and pounce isn't really a distance thing. It's not that's not really what you use that tool for. Nice. That was actually a good shot. You're cryptic.
How's it going all?
Welcome in, Fred. How are you? Thank you for the 3 months. How's your day treating? Yeah, exactly, okay. Like one hit all 5 gens. Like bad luck is like if this team had like you went in and it's like 4 BNPs, area crows. Like that's bad luck. Like that's not on you, right? But yeah, that's not the case. Or 2 hackers, true, also true. Hey, Amir. No, the favorite trickster main is there's a Mikhail in this one. Yeah, there's not much you can do here. This is like the best you can do is force trades and hopefully get a 1K. I mean, you saw the vision. You were like, 2 people lined up, let's go. Keep catching them? If you keep catching them, how are they everywhere? If you caught them, they'd be stuck with you. What if they're not caught? They're getting kind of greedy. You gotta be careful because they'll just be able to crawl out if you don't pick soon. Yeah, because the closer here, the situation here is the closer they get to that door, the easier it is for them to get out. Because like the farther you hook somebody away from the door, the harder it gets for them to escape. So by waiting, you're getting them. You're like limiting your options of where you can hook them. Fortunately, you do have agitation, so you can carry them far away. But you're not doing that. You're just gonna hook them next to the door. Realistically, you try to hook people as far away from doors as possible, because then they have to go deeper into the map to get them. And especially with Dracula, where you can just Hellfire and take a free health state right away. Like, it's really beneficial to hook them deep in the map, but you just gotta hook her right next to it with agitation, which is really strange. I don't quite understand that. There's a slug to the pick, but they're not even picking them up. This is still not the right situation. The right decision. Okay, you hear Meg. Instead of chasing her, did you just not know where she went? I looked at her twice, and you're spinning around. I think at this point you're just panicked. I looked at her twice. She's over by the office main. Oh, she's just gonna wiggle now. Oh, why are you doing this? Oh, what are we doing? Oh, you're scaring me. Stop, you're scaring me. Oh, what are we doing? You're not gonna prevent her from crawling out. You're not gonna prevent her from crawling out. Why? You're not gonna be... She's gonna wiggle. You just gave them the 3 out.
Making me angry.
Okay, 2 out at the best. 2 out at best. Okay, no, you got it. Okay. Never mind. That was so scary. That was so scary. You made my blood pressure go up doing that. That's terrifying. Holy moly. You risked so much. That was scary. Oh.
What an emotional display.
That was so scary. You almost lost all that. Holy moly. That was so terrifying. I don't know why you kept picking up and dropping her. But that was... Holy moly. was scary. I do kind of. Yeah, no BMPs or anything. There's like one deja vu. You chase that person for 3 gens, so they even get to really use it. Right, so in terms of your main takeaways, I feel like the emergency issue, like the thing you need to fix like yesterday, was you overcommit to chases like nobody's business. You were in chase with that Nancy in the middle of the game for like 2.5 minutes, give or take. Like I was already kind of getting on you for like chasing the Meg for almost 2 minutes, like a minute and a half. You were in chase with her. But then you went on to chase Nancy for 2.5 minutes. Gens and Dead by Daylight are only 90 seconds, unaided by deja vu, toolboxes, that sort of thing. People stacking on the gens. So the fact that you would commit to a chase over a full minute, like one time, already pretty detrimental. If you're going to commit to a 2.5 minute chase, that's when you commit to a single person for 2.5 minutes. That means that 3 survivors on the map have nothing else to do but to sit on gens. So realistically, what you should have been doing in a lot of these situations is realizing that, like, okay, I'm clearly not going to down either this Meg or this Nancy anytime soon, and all of my slowdown is based off of hooks, right? Leverage, pain res, if to pain. All of your pressure from your perks is based on hooks. Agitation also doesn't work unless you're hooking somebody. So you literally were playing almost perkless Dracula because you overcommitted to your chases too much. And realistically didn't get much value out of them at all. So in the future, match time is gen time. Chase time, if you don't have them down by 40 seconds, you gotta go, this chase has been a long. And if it gets past 50 seconds, you gotta start thinking about leaving. You gotta take the injury, kick a pallet or 2, and then go find somebody who's an easier target. Because committing to the Legacy Meg, who probably has played this game for a while, was not an ideal choice. Yeah, I feel like your most biggest emergency issue at the moment is that you overcommit to chases a lot, and match time is gen time. So try to work on cutting down your chase time. Second main takeaway. The second main takeaway is that you kind of go for a lot of like Hail Mary shots. Like you go for shots that are just like, whoa, wouldn't it be crazy if this hit? And you just kind of like send it. You just kind of like go for it, right? Whether it be super long lunges with the pounces of the wolf, or it's like these, like the crazy like window hellfire you tried to go for. Like you try to send out a lot of like, really, wouldn't it be crazy if these hit kind of hits? And most of them just ended up missing, which kind of ended up really putting you back in the long run. Would it be cool if those hit? Yeah, but realistically, when you're going for something super flashy and wild like that, most times, like super out there hits like that happen on players who aren't paying attention. And in terms of playing more consistently, you gotta plan for players that are going to be paying attention and not just assume that they won't be. So I would try to like temper try to temper that a bit, where you're trying to go for more confirmed shots. That's like, don't ever go for something cool, wild, and out there and fun ever. But like, do it when you're like at like 3 gens and you already have somebody death hook, where it's not going to be a make it or break it on the match because you already have a lot of pressure. You were doing it out the gate, and despite the fact that you were at 2 gens with 1 hook, you were still going for like super risky pounces and super risky hellfires. You need to be playing more consistently in this moments and not going for super risky intentional misses like that. And I think lastly, there's going to be kind of a mixed one, so it's going to be kind of hard to, but I'm going to mash these 2 together. You kind of like are misdiagnosing the purpose of wolf and bat form. Like wolf form, you seem to think was like, you use the pounce to try and like catch up or like snipe people last second, you were almost kind of using it like interchangeably with like the way a Wesker bound would go. And it's not a 1-to-1. Are they similar? Yes. But is it a 1-to-1? Nah. They don't function exactly the same. So maybe that's where you're getting that. Because it's only 10 meters when you pounce. So that's not a great deal of distance realistically. And especially when like you have to like ready it up, go raw, and then you like slow down a bit, like you kind of can't use it to close distance. You can use wolf form in general with descent orbs, but like using the pounce for that tool, not really. And also there was a distinct lack of using bat form to close distances. You weren't using it to quickly transform and hit them, which is kind of like one of the strongest things you can do on this character. And despite the fact that you brought an add-on for teleporting as bat form, you weren't really doing it until like the last gen. Like even out the gate, you had an opportunity to teleport down the middle of the map and just immediately start that chase with Meg, but you flew as the bat the whole way. So I feel like I would try to get a hold on what form does what, because currently it seems like you kind of like the hold you have on which form does what seems a little misdiagnosed. It's leading you to assume you can do some things that would either be better done with a different tool in that form or just done better in a different form. So try to figure out which form works best for what situation. Okay.